Hey everybody, welcome back to another review with me. I'm your host Maxine, and we are reviewing Love is Blind season 10, episodes 7 and 8 and 9. 7 through 9, okay? I'm going to go through the highlights and I'm going to do it through like couple by couple, okay? I'm going to do a couple by couple and let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do so, like the video. You're already going to enjoy it. Just go ahead and like it, hit that thumbs up button. Thank you. Subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and leave a comment now. Thank you. Okay, so the couples came back from their pre-honeymoon trip. You know, they went to Mexico and now they're back in Ohio. And now they're all meeting each other's families. Let's start off with Chris and Jessica. Before Chris and Jessica could even meet each other's families, Chris talking about, you don't do Pilates, I can't get with it.
Like, just to be totally honest and like without sounding like a fucking dickhead, I don't know how to say it. Like in the normal world, like I date people who like fucking do like fucking CrossFit and shit. So like I'm trying to like, I don't know, somebody who like works out all the time and like has like a different type of, I don't know.
A different type of like body?
It's just like somebody who does fucking like Pilates every day, or like someone who's like working out every day. In those situations, it's hard for me to be like physically like in that moment, like into it.
That's what Chris says to Jessica, who comes home from a long day at the hospital, being the doctor that she is. He comes home and lets her know, I don't know if there's physical chemistry here. I'm not attracted to you because I usually date women who does Pilates. I usually date women who does CrossFit. Who eats crawfish, who no, I usually date women who does CrossFit. I did that for like a few sessions. You know how on ClassPass you could get like a few sessions for free and then you have to pay? After I finished those few sessions, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to pay for this. I did ClassPass for other things. Like I tried out different workouts, but CrossFit is an experience for sure. But yeah, he's talking about, oh, you don't do CrossFit. You don't do Pilates. I'm not into you. You would think Jessica is this fat blob who walked in, okay? You would think she is just this unkept woman who has stringy hair and is just unattractive just objectively. And I don't think she is. Right now, I don't think she is. She isn't. It's not based on preference. But I mean, look, to each their own. I don't want to pound him for his preference, right? But it's just so ostentatious for a man of his stature, right? A man of his stature, lack thereof, really, because he's a short man. He's a small guy. He's just a small guy. A man of his size he has the audacity to talk about, I don't know if there's physical chemistry. Well, sir, I'm not physically attracted to you because you're an elf. You're a dweeb. You're Keebler's elf. Okay? It's the audacity of these short men, and it's really an epidemic. You would think that, it's bad to generalize people under, whatever circumstance, right? You can't generalize black people. You can't generalize men. You can't generalize women, right? Like, you shouldn't, right? It's not the proper thing to do. But seriously, what has been a consistent thing amongst all experiences of everyone is short men are a problem. That's it. Short men are a problem. They lack the confidence and it shows in so many different ways. And they think that they have the audacity and the right to speak out of turn like this. Sir, you're 3'5". What are we talking about? Well, if I was Jessica, I'd be like, well, I don't usually date men who's your size. And I decided to still continue with this process because we had such a strong chemistry and connection in the pods. That's what she should have said. I don't usually date men your size. I usually don't date men who's as short as you. Do you plan on fixing your height? Like, what are we talking about? Anyway, Jessica's not You know what? I commend her for holding it together and being as mature as she was as he was saying this, and she just kind of just like wrapped it up. Like it appeared as if she was the one who decided, okay, well, you don't find me physically attractive. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and end this relationship, which Chris surprisingly was surprised by that. Now he's going around venting to Bree and venting to Connor, acting like a victim, acting like he got dumped. And oh, all I said was I like pretty women. All I said was I like women who I'm physically attracted to and who does CrossFit and who does Pilates. That's all I said. Sir, if you don't go kick rocks, anyway, get out of here. I'm going to jump into a scene with Chris, though, right now. So, Chris, later on, everyone meet, how they always have that scene where all the couples are together as well as the pod squad. So, other people from the pods who didn't get a chance to match and meet their connection because it didn't move forward, now they all get to see everyone in person. So, one moment with Chris was one of the moments, but Chris speaks to Bree and he's suddenly putting the moves on her. He's like laughing at her for saying, oh, me and Connor, just like taking her unseriously because ew, why would you want to be with Connor, right? That's his impression. He's talking down about Connor, saying how he's a yes man, he's a submissive guy. You need a man who takes control. You need a man who would take you on vacations and take you on adventures and would take you to the Four Seasons. Chris, I need a man who's taller than you. Let's stop there. I need a man who's taller than you. Let's move on to Alex and Ashley. So, just as I suspected, their chemistry was solely fixated on physical, sexual, and nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Because as soon as and when you're on vacation, suddenly you want to have sex more, right? Suddenly you want to just bang, 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 let's bang again, let's bang again, let's bang again. And that stopped as soon as they returned to Ohio and they moved in. So Ashley is visibly upset. She's pissed because she says she's a sexual person, which understandably so. I support women saying that because for so long it's been limited to men being the ones who enjoy sex, who want sex. I want more women to come out and say, I like sex too, right? I want to have sex too. Anyway, so Ashley's upset because, nigga, we haven't fucked. I'm sexually frustrated. We haven't fucked. What's going on? I want you to pound me down. Let's go to Pound Town. I want you to kiss it down low. I want it all, okay? And naturally, if you're uptight and you have and you finally get some loving, suddenly the day's brighter. Suddenly the sun is out more, right? Suddenly you could smile a little, you could show some teeth. But she hasn't been having sex with him. He hasn't been initiating it. And I guess naturally she doesn't initiate. Maybe she's been experiences where the man will initiate more. But nonetheless, he says to her that, well, you've been on your period and I don't want to, I don't want to have period sex. And after the period, she's like, well, I finished my period. He's like, well, the ovulation, I don't know if I'm not trying to have a baby. I'm not trying to have a kid. And I'm definitely not trying to have a kid with you. Like, he was emphasizing so hard how much he did not want to have kids. Okay. And it's like, damn, nigga, I didn't say I'm about to get pregnant right now. Who knows? Like, my thing is, you would think they had those conversations as they were pounding it down in their pre-honeymoon vacation. You would think. So I'm sure it would have been mentioned that, oh, I'm on the pill, and of course, that's not always guaranteed to protect you from pregnancy, but it typically is on the protective side, right? It typically does protect you. And so he is using that as his excuse anyway. He's saying, yeah, and he doesn't really do period sex either, which I feel like if a man says, I don't do period sex and you don't do me, can we stop there? Can we stop there? Now, I just find that to be so immature. I find that to be so childish because what? You don't want this pussy? Oh, a little blood in it is gonna stop you? Like, what are we talking about? And not to bring it back to Charlemagne, not to bring it back, I never even talked about him, but not to bring it to Charlemagne, the god. But I remember back in the day when he was more raunchy in his speech, he would say, a period doesn't stop anything but a sentence. Okay. And that is the truth and nothing else. That is the truth because what are we talking about? You not trying to fuck? Cause you see a little blood, you smell a little penny, you smell a little copper. That's enough to stop you? Then you're not a real man. You're not a real man. Shout out to my real man because he loves it all. He loves it dirty. Okay, shout out to Freckles Bay. But seriously, what are we talking about? All you need is a towel. Now, granted, if you're a heavy bleeder, then maybe we'll wait until day 3. Typically, day 3 is not too bad. I'm about to, but seriously, I hate that. That's such a pet peeve of mine. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't do period sex? You don't do me. You don't do me. Anyway, they move on from that point. She introduces him to her family. Now, it's her dad, it's her mom, and it's her brother. And her dad is head honcho, which I love. I love an alpha man. I know we don't like to say that anymore. I know that's being called a pick me, but I love an alpha man. Okay, you better know that you're the man of this household, of this family, of this tribe. I love that. Anyway, he's grilling Alex down.
So what makes you think you can settle down? You're tired of moving? Different chicks?
Absolutely. I'm tired of figuring out a different grocery store and a different gym and different friends throughout every city.
Different chicks?
Well, I won't lie, absolutely.
Okay,
I'll kill them.
Absolutely.
You're flashy.
Sure.
You're very polished. I'll give you that. But the rest of it, I don't know. Convince me that you're real.
I'm absolutely in love with your daughter.
That's not it.
No?
No.
What
That's
about-
more like words.
Ashley's dad is grilling Alex down because obviously Alex is a snake. Alex is someone who is, I think he's a con artist. I think he's someone who's not to be trusted. I feel like a man who, and not to shoot on a nomadic lifestyle, but I think if you are so gung-ho about moving and grooving and moving around. You don't really have a story straight. You talk too fast. I don't trust you. What do you mean you don't have a home? What do you mean you're in between jobs? What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't like that. And he keeps whining about his failed soccer career. I don't give a damn. What are you doing right now? Oh, now he wants to be a soccer coach and he's in the middle of obtaining that position. Oh, okay. So before that scene, actually, as he was talking to Ashley and they had the whole sex talk, he's talking about how, he has an offer and we talked about moving to Florida. You could see Ashley is not really 100% on Florida, which is weird because I think she kind of catfished him because she said she was down for a venture. She was down for moving and not staying in Ohio, and Florida is one of the places that she said she would be interested in. So all of a sudden you want to change up. But whatever, Alex ain't anything anyway, so you can change up for him. But anyway, Alex is just, I understand the dad being as aggressive as he was. He was giving him a hard eye. He was not playing. And I love that. I don't like a man, especially a father, to be so quick to accept a man that his daughter is dating or engaged to in this scenario. And look, yes, you want your dad, come on, I want you to like him, but I don't want you to like him too much. I don't want you to like him instantly. I want you to say, you know what, whatever you want to do, baby, I support you and I love you. But I'm still going to get to know this man and I'm still going to have a good eye on him because you are my heart, right? I think that is the better approach. And I'm saying that because we jump into Brittany and Devontae. Brittany introduces Devontae to her family, and her dad is super inviting, super welcoming to Devontae. And one may think, oh, isn't that a good thing? Wouldn't you want, an invite? No, I wouldn't. I want you to put some sweat into this man. I want you to let him know that you don't play about me. And if he plays about me, then you're out of here. I want that. Yet Brittany's dad is showing him pictures from their family tree, talking about, I was this age when I had Brittany, and she was my world, and she is my world, and I welcome you to this family, son. What? You just met this man's son. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Brittany, your dad is not your protector. I'm sorry. He nice guy, but not a protector. That's not someone I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. Anyway, we got a conversation between Brittany and Devontae. Devontae is not much of a complimenter when it comes to her, and she's upset about it. She says that she's someone who needs validation. And I understand that to a point. I think Brittany, she has to work on some things. And they finally get to a point where she says, I'm going to stop projecting on you. I'm going to stop expecting you to just know some things. He says that he doesn't really like to give compliments because it doesn't feel natural. Or now that you asked me to give you a compliment, now I'm not going to give you a compliment. Like, are you a rebel? Like, what are we talking about? He says, yeah, it feels forced if I give you a compliment. Or like, and she said something very particular, how he compliments like her outfit that she's wearing. Like, he'll say, oh, I like your outfit. Oh, I like your shoes. But he doesn't compliment her, right? He doesn't say you look beautiful, or you are beautiful, or I love how you smile. Like, he doesn't compliment her, because who am I outside of these clothes, right? Do you like that? Are you into that? And he doesn't really make that clear. And so I guess he doesn't recognize when he does that. I don't know. I feel like Devontae, remember him? He said he doesn't like, but he said he's never dated a woman of color, which, what? I hate that term. But he's never dated a woman of color. And Brittany has said that she has never dated a man who looked like Devontae. Now, what does that mean? A black man? Because Devontae is a black man, regardless of how he sees himself. But Brittany has said to Alex that he is someone that she would typically go for in Alex. So it seems like both of them don't really date their kind, their color. Anyway, they get to a point of resolution in that conversation, and we move on to Emma and Mike. Children is the topic again between them, and that's just going to be their storyline, it seems like. Mike is trying to convince her family, because he meets her family. He's trying to convince her family that she would be a great mother, and how motherhood is this amazing thing, and having children is like, sir, do you have a kid? Do you already have a kid? Like, it's just a little too much. He's going too hard right now about it. He also actually introduces her to his family as well, and she tells his family how she's not really interested in having kids, or she's not 100% on it, and she gives her story. He comes from a very strong Italian family. You can see it in his dad too. Like, he looks like a mafia boss. Not to be stereotypical, but he does. Okay, he does. Anyway, they ask, oh, so do you have Chinese parents? Like, she's like, no, I'm actually adopted. So she gives a whole story, and they like her, but they are concerned about her not having kids, and they're concerned about this whole process and how it was done this way. So I think they were nice to her, but I don't know if they would 100% have picked her for their son. Anyway, so as Mike is meeting her family, Emma's sister, who again is her adopted sister, she already has kids. And she says that if she had the opportunity to do life again, she would not have kids. She would rather just live life just as a non-mother, right? And I think, there's a whole Reddit page that I used to just lurk over. I haven't checked it out in a minute, but I used to lurk on this Reddit page called Regretful Parents. I think it's called Regretful Parents or Remorseful Parents. But, I ended up lurking on that page just because I felt a little bad for their kids. The way that, because it's one thing for Emma's sister to say, oh, in another world, I wouldn't have kids, right? But I do love my kids, type of thing. And she talks about how she just loves she sees the freedom that one could have if they didn't have kids. And that's all true, right? But it seems like she was only fixated on the negative, and that Reddit page that I referenced, that's what it was. Like, it was almost like, I don't even love my kids. Like, they're still parents, but they're absent parents as far as emotionally, mentally, and even like maybe they'll spend more times off, like more times away from home just so they could get a break from their kids. And I'm just like, God damn. I get it. It's a lot to have kids from what I could see and, what I've experienced in as a third party. But I feel like that's just such a harsh thing to say. Now, I don't want to fault her for saying that. I think she said it in a way that made sense. But I'm just really saying it in the sense of looking at the Reddit page that I referenced. Regretful parents, no, they go in. They really don't like those kids. And it's those kids, not even their kids, right? The way they talk about it is like, no, those kids, they remove it from their own love and, this kid came out of you type of thing. But I mean, no judgment, really no judgment. I think it's fair to realize like, dang, maybe I wasn't meant to be a mother. Maybe I wasn't meant to be a father. Maybe I wasn't meant to have children. And I did it because it was the thing to do. And sometimes FOMO could play a huge role in our life decisions. And giving birth to a child, you can't take that back, right? You adopt a child, you can't take that back. I mean, sometimes I guess you can take it back, but the point is, you can't reverse that. And I think that's a lot to take in, and that probably feels heavy on someone. So with Connor and Bree, here's the thing. I think Connor's a sweet guy. He looks like my dog, literally. I'm not saying this to be rude. Like, he literally looks like my golden doodle, my mini golden doodle. He's a little cutie, like, So anyway, shout out to my dog Theo. But yeah, Connor is a good guy, right? See, he seems like he'll be a good husband, a good partner to have. It's just with Bree, she doesn't care any less. Like, she could care less, actually, I should say. She does not give a damn about him. She's always nitpicking at him. They have this banter, but it's to the point where, okay, bitch, do you like me? That's why he should just break out in character and be like, okay, bitch, do you like me? Do you like me? Because the way you talking to me, the way you talk about me, the way you talk to me, it seems like you don't like me. Connor shows her to his house, right? They all get a chance to see each other's homes, and she comes to his house. She's like, oh, how come you didn't clean out your fridge? Or mind you, it was not even dirty. Oh no, I think it was cleaned out. And so she's like, oh, you don't have anything in it? Like, bitch, you knew I was going to be on the show, right? You knew I was on the show with you, right? That's how we met. Why are you caring so much about how my fridge looks? Just little things like that. The lock on his door, I mean, granted, it wasn't secure. So I'm glad he recognized that after she called it out. But the point is, everything that he did, everything that he said, she had a problem with. She calls him a bachelor. He has this like gaming room, which I think is pretty cool. I would have been like, okay, bet. I play Sims over here. You play Grand Theft Auto over here. Don't bother me. But to her, she's like, this is like a frat house. Then, girl, go to Wall Street. Get you a man who's in tech. High tech. But like, she just always has an issue, and I feel like it's to the point where if they were to actually say yes to each other, which I don't think they would, well, I don't think she would, at least, or maybe not him either, but who knows. But I feel like Connor will be in an abusive relationship. I really do. I think he will be in an abusive marriage as far as verbally and mentally. I think she would continue to speak to him the way that she is. And it's just very unfortunate. I feel like Connor needs to get out. He needs to break free. And I wish him the best. So we get to Vic and Christine. They're the strong couple here, along with Amber and Jordan. I really do see it for both of these couples. With Vic and Christine, Vic meets her mom. And, Christine is a white woman. And with Vic, him being a black man with these long dreads, I'm happy those dreads are locked. Or, no, I should say his locks. I'm happy his locks are clean. And you know what I mean by that, y'all. I'm not trying to, be anti-black. I'm a black woman. How can I be? Yes, I know those things could exist. But the point is, I'm not being anti-black. his dreads, his locks, I should say, because you don't say dreads. His locks are clean, right? They're not no dookie ass braids. They're not no Jay-Z Basquiat, which I hate that we have to say along with each other. But since it seems like Jay-Z's trying to take on the spirit of Basquiat, that's what it's given. But it's not those types of locks, okay? His locks are clean, individualized, and put in the back, right? They're not up in this updo looking like a girl. No, he just has a little ponytail holder in the back, and he has the rest down, but it's in the back. Okay, he's clean shaven. He looks good and non-threatening. Non-threatening, I should say that. But anyway, Christine's mom is very welcoming to him, and it's very sweet. She does talk about Christine's dad in a poor light, which I feel like, I don't know that's necessary for him to know. Like, granted, he already knows because Christine opened up to him, but I feel like it's apropos, or it's not apropos, I should say. It's not apropos for the woman, the wife here, or I don't know if they were married, but nonetheless, I just feel like it's just tacky. Like, what are we doing? So we see Vic and Christine, they're walking in the park and they are discussing about the future, right? They're discussing how their future will look like now that they're committed to each other and the potential of having kids, and these kids will be biracial. So they talk about that whole situation. Anyway, we move on to Amber and Jordan, another strong couple. This couple, I really love seeing them together. You could see how Amber is just so smitten by him. She feels loved by him. You could feel as if like she does trust him. And with Jordan, it's obvious to me that he appreciates her and he is smitten by her too. It just seems like a very strong couple as well. Jordan meets Amber's daughter's dad, and this was done off camera. So it just gives the impression that, okay, he's serious about her. And I'm glad that we didn't see the kid, though. I am glad. We don't need to see the kid. But yeah, that's great. So we get to our last scene. Everyone meets up at the bar, the couples as well as the pod squad. And that includes Priyanka. So Priyanka is the Indian woman who didn't get matched with anyone apparently. But Alex is telling us that he actually knew Priyanka. He knew her before. They were part of a friend group before, and he's just kind of being secretive in how he explains how he knows her. But it just gives me the impression that they had sex, that they had some type of sexual encounter. But he actually said that he didn't want to let Ashley know that he knew Priyanka. And he also is trying to say in a noble way, like, oh, I didn't want to ruin the experience for Priyanka by letting it be known that I know her or that I know is her through, that whole, which season that was, but it was a couple of seasons ago when there were two people who knew each other. But yeah, the guy, that tall guy, they recently got divorced. But anyway, it seems like she stalked him and followed him on the show. But we move on. Kia arrives, and so does Kevin, but I'm saying it like they arrived together. They did not. But I didn't see them interact, which I thought was strange because we know that they did not match together, right? They didn't leave together, but they didn't interact at the bar, and I wanted to see them interact, or maybe they did interact and we just didn't see it. Tyler was not there. I was hoping to see her, and I was hoping to see her interact with Kevin as well, but she didn't arrive. She didn't arrive. And then finally, Amber tells Chris that you would never get a doctor again. You think you're gonna get a doctor again? Like basically saying like you missed out on this doctor woman that you had, this doctor woman fiance that you had. And here's the thing. Here's what I want to say. I get her point in saying that. I just feel like sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves as women and recognize that these men don't give a damn about your accolades, okay? They don't give a damn about your career. They don't give a damn about your education and the degrees that you hold. They don't. They really don't. They may be like, okay, that's what's up. That's cool. Good for you. But they don't measure your worth and their attraction towards you based on your degrees. Now, maybe the new niggas out here, like the more feminized men out here, not to really shoot you down, but honestly, the men out here, the alpha men, the misogynistic man, y'all want to say that, but the men out here don't give a damn that you get your doctorate. Okay, they don't give a damn that you're a surgeon. They don't care. They do not care. I promise you. They want to see what that mouth do. Okay, they want to see what that body looking like. And that's just it. That's just biological. Men are visual beings, and it just is what it is. It doesn't mean that you should not want to obtain the degrees and the career that you desire. Still go for it. I'm just saying, don't depend your worth, or don't expect the man to want you just because of the career that you have, or just because of degrees that you hold. Like, I promise you, they don't give a damn. Okay. But anyway, that's where we end off with this review for episodes 7 through 9 of Love is Blind season 10. Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe to the video, and I'll check with y'all next time. Bye.